All right, guys. So, like I said, the three angles of a triangle add up to 180. I just showed you guys here in class exactly how they always look like. So, part of your homework today will be solve for x, but in this case, we're dealing with the three angles of a triangle. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add all angles. If I look at the first angle is x plus 53. If I look at the second angle is 55. If I look at the third angle, it's 80. So if I add all three angles, so basically I'm adding everything, it has to equal to 180. All right, I just came and I told you guys, I showed you guys with a piece of paper that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180 always. So let me separate them through the equal sign. Now that looks like a simple algebra work. I can combine 53 plus 55 plus 80. Right, that's something we can easily do. That's 188. So just to simplify the left side, I have x plus 188 is equal to 180. Right? I simplify the left just so it will look nicer. Now my instructions here are solve for x. So let me move this plus 188 to the other side as a minus 188. So I get that x equals negative 8. It's okay if it's a negative value, yes. Simplify 53 plus 55 plus 80. And that's how I got the 188. So once again, all we're going to do is we're going to add all three angles. Right? If you notice, I added all angles, x plus 53 plus 55 plus 80. So basically, I'm adding all the angles, and it is equal to 180. Always. Right? And then just solve for x the way you know how to solve for x. Whenever you guys type it, make sure you don't have to type x equals. Just type in negative 8. That will be it. Right? Solve for x, negative 8. Any questions on these? Always equals 180. All right, the three angles always equal 180. Yeah, we're good on that one? Hold on. All right. Now let's take a look at another thing we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be classifying triangles. Let me minimize this for a minute. Now there's going to be two things. One, I'm going to ask you guys to classify by angles and sides. Actually, let me write on this. I'm going to classify by angles and sides. When it comes to angles, I'm going to give the name. It's okay. I'm going to give the name of the biggest angle. I know last week we talked about right angles, acute angles, obtuse angles, and straight angles. So I'm going to look at the biggest angle. In this case, 60 is the biggest angle. I know the other two are the same, but the biggest angle, if I was to look at the biggest number, the biggest one is 60, which is less than 90. So I'm going to say this triangle is going to be called acute. The name of when I'm classifying the triangle by the angles, once again, I'm just looking at angles right now. Whenever I'm classifying them by the angles, it gets the name of the biggest angle. So if the biggest angle was more than 90, obviously I will call it obtuse. If my biggest angle was 90, then I will go right. Right? I'm giving the name of the biggest angle. In this case, 60, which is an acute. Now, when it comes to sides, there's three cases. One of the cases is that all the sides are different. All sides are different. Another case that we have is that two sides are equal. And the third case that we get is that all sides are equal. I'm just going to write three sides are equal. Right? Those are basically the three cases that we have. I'll give you guys the three names for right now, but it's either all the sides are different. So keep in mind that now I'm looking at sides. So I'm looking at these numbers out here, right? It could be all different. If it was all different, I will call this scaling. if all the sides were different. It's not our case, but it could be a case. So if all the sides are different, I'll call that scaling. When two sides are equal, I think of myself, I have two legs that hope they're equal. And if I stand on the floor, I create a triangle with the floor, right? I have two sides. No matter how much I open or how little I open, I create a triangle. But two sides are always equal. So I have two sides that are equal. So I'm gonna call this isosceles. Isosceles is when we have the two sides are equal. Kind of like I said, I have two legs. So isosceles has two legs that are equal. Now, when they're all equal, which is our case, when all three sides are equal, which is our case, we're going to call this equilateral, which, if you guys break it down, is equal sides. All sides are equal. So, whenever I'm classifying in this example, by angles, it's acute. By sides, I'm going to call this equilateral. So for the test on Friday, I will ask you for both, kind of like it is right now in the example. Classify each triangle by its angles and sides. So I'm expecting two answers, right? Acute, equilateral, for the test on Friday. Now, when it comes to the homework, I'm only going to do one. It will say classify by the angles. So then I'm just expecting acute. If I just say classify by the sides, then I'm expecting equilateral. So once again, on the test on Friday, I will ask you for both answers, classified by angles and sides. When it comes to the homework, it's either going to be classified by angles or classified by sides. Only one. Let's take a look at another example. Let's go here. So looking at our biggest angle, in this case is 90, how do we call this triangle? Right. Good job. 90 sometimes will be represented with the numbered, sometimes it's represented with the box. But 90 is, so in this case, right is the biggest angle. Now I see that all sides are different. So how do we call it? Scaling. Nice. Right for the angles, scaling for the sides. So yeah, the name is the biggest angle, the bigger angle. In this case, 90. So this is right, yeah. Because a big angle is 90. The other two angles are smaller than 90. Or you give the name of the biggest angle of the three. All right. Any questions?